Keister. I'm the owner of Lil's Bagels. And we started back in 2016. And it was, I always say, kind of an accidental business. I moved here from New York and was just wanting a good bagel and couldn't find one in the Covington area and just started making them myself. So cooking was always a major passion of mine, even though at the time my background was teaching special ed, but cooking was always what I did in my off time, just for fun, to relax, etc. I started to make bagels, and I was working at a nonprofit and bringing bagels to work every week, and because you can't just make 2 bagels. And people loved them and kept asking if I could bring more, if they could order them. And then the nonprofit opened a coffee shop, and they were like, do you think we could buy bagels for the coffee shop? And I said, okay. And that's kind of when everything blew up, because then customers were asking if they could get dozens for baby showers and parties. And other coffee shops were asking how they could get them. So I started to bake out of the kitchen that's at New Rift Distillery. And so I was baking there and getting Google form orders every week, and then started selling at farmers markets. And that's kind of how it all began. When I was thinking about the name, I wanted to think about, why do I love bagels so much? How do I know what a good bagel is? And it traced back to my grandmother, whose name was Lillian Kessler, but people called her Lil. So I wanted to name it after her. People always ask if it's a family recipe, and no. I always say she only made hot dogs and tuna salad. But she was the person who was like, you can't eat, this bagel from the grocery store. You have to have a good bagel, from the bagel deli. And so I wanted to name it after her. And then the logo came, actually, she had, after she died, and we were looking through her things, she had a sign hanging in her kitchen that said Lil's Kitchen, which we actually have up in the shop. And the local designer that we worked with, Durham Design, he was asking if we had anything of hers that he could get inspiration from. And I showed him the sign, and he was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. So he actually took, the L is very similar, that we use for our logo, that's from the sign. So I guess I'm super queer. So that was something I really wanted to bring into the business in a real out and proud way. Just because, for so long that hasn't been an option for so many people. My mom is also queer. Lil maybe was, I don't know. But I have a very gay family, and it's been very important to me to be out and representative of that. And I wanted to also be that space for other people, whether they feel really comfortable here or whether they see that being queer is just being queer, that it's nothing really different. So a space that's supportive to people and also a learning space was always really important. And hopefully that being that inclusive of a space for queer people, we hope that it also feels that way for everyone. So not just queer people. But also I would say that most of our team is also queer at this point. It's unique to have a business that has such a queer staff, but I think it also shows that people want to work here, that it's like a comfortable and supportive and, you know, family-like atmosphere to work here. So we always say, like, we can't call ourselves a community anchor. Like, at some point we hope to be called that, but that's what we strive to be. And I've always thought that was extremely important, just because as a business, you have this public platform that I think is a privilege. You have all different types of people in your space. You can use the space for events, which we do. We try to have a fundraiser every month where we actually donate all of our tips to usually some local organization. And we also donate a percentage of our profits to that day. And then on top of that, we do different events to help the community or support the community. Everything from letting people use the space for their events to having events such as Queer Soup Night, which we is one of our favorite things to have here. I would say our most popular bagel is our everything bagel. We make the everything seasoning here in-house, and we feel like we've perfected the everything seasoning with just the right amount of all the different spices. And then in terms of some fun bagels that we make like a spicy beet turmeric bagel in the fall and winter months. We in no way are like a traditional Jewish deli. We'd like to kind of play on that with flavors and just really be like as creative and fun as possible.